once we decide, so we will decide the way and how we the more detailed strategy to do this after after getting some more feedback from Mike and Steven. But yeah, probably the next step we eventually have to the next thing we eventually have to decide is the minimum version. I mean the base version we will aim. I
Yeah.
mean, technically speaking, we can squash all of the migration database schema migration till Antwerp because the we Antwerp or even at this stage the Caracal because we don't really we are currently in the development cycle for D,
Right.
and the C is the only supported version which can be directly upgraded to D. But yeah, I think the dropping all of the migration script till C is a kind of too drastic. So we may want to set some the safe version like just doing this all for the maintain release like maintained release like the moving the base version to Z is one option.
Yeah.
But yeah, that point, I mean, how the range or scope of this work should be determined after we decide the method to move on. So,
Yes.
but yeah, I think that can be later discussed again. I mean,
Yeah.
once we get some input from these folks, I think.
Yeah. That makes sense. Perfect. And I think I actually was curious about this. I think Cinder or Nova may have some sort of a cadence at which they were doing these squashes. Um,
Uh, in the past, they did quite aggressive, but
mhm.
like when the something goes EOL, then immediately removed support for the EOL release. That's what they did.
Yeah.
But yeah, since that we moved to the extended maintenance phase. The more
We've gone back and
then
forth. Yeah.
everything is stopped. So
Yeah.
I actually propose several. This is not quite limited to DB schema migration, but I have proposed several cleanup topics in Nova in the class during this cycle. But the cleanup hasn't been done for some time since we introduced the extended maintenance concept.
Mhm.
Actually, during this cycle, I had some discussion with yeah, just talking about the schema migration. I had some discussion with the grants folks, and we basically agreed to the squash migration to drop the compatibility from anything in unmaintained or URL status. So
Mhm.
that the conversation I had, but the current grant still holds a migration script from Liberty, so
Uh-huh.
the cleanup hasn't been done since
Yeah.
then.
Totally. And that goes even into the next topic, right? I think you had added stuff to the next topic as well about, I mean, config options. That's another thing that we would deprecate and just leave supported forever.
I I think this was added by someone else, but yeah, I added a note. So the
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So that was something we thought we'll spend some time on this cycle. I mean, it is a big beast to tackle stuff like,
Yeah,
cleanup like this. So we try to do that opportunistically. Maybe a bug squash idea, Carlos. Find all the deprecated options that ought to have disappeared like 5 releases ago. Why are they still there? Just submit patches to just delete, delete, delete.
yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, I think we can just start with, the grabbing duplicated
right.
and then find out the option.
Perfect. I had no further questions. I think it's way late. Maybe somebody else has questions.
Yeah, that's no questions on my end. But yeah, that's thank you for bringing this up. Yeah, we discussed about this for a while, but I agree with the directions, like the next steps that we should take. And on removing the deprecated options and making this possibly a bug squash, yes, that's something that would be nice. So we can file even a bug and try to act like many people on it. We could have lots of people chiming in and helping us go through that. So I completely agree with that. And also getting back to the DB migration script now, Thanks, Takashi, for bringing this up and for also sharing and starting on this work. It's really it's a nice thing to do, as Gautam said. And yeah, 70 migrations. It's it's crazy. Um, they and I mean we keep adding new migrations, and the the job keeps taking longer and longer to finish because I mean it's more and more migration. So I think yes, as well, like we should absolutely do this.
Yeah. So for DB scheme migration, I think we can continue discussion in RLC or mailing list or even in that patch, I think. So I will just, I mean, I will avoid updating it, I mean, frequently now. But yeah, once we complete the conversation, then we can decide if we go with that path or in the different path, then we can discuss it in anyway. I will be available in IOC as well as a mailing list, so you can reach me easily. And yeah, one tips about the duplicated option is that the general and but annoying thing with it that is that there might be some other toolings, especially the deployment toolings using the duplicated option even nowadays. So you might probably want to search the occurrence of the duplicated option using the hound. I mean the code search in the OpenDev. But yeah, that's the something I have already. I'm usually annoyed with
Yeah,
when
no,
doing this kind of duplication cleanup. But yeah,
makes
we'll
sense.
see.
And many a times it shows up in Puppet repos. So
Yeah.
I mean, you
Yeah, and
if
yeah,
you can
if you find
use it.
anything in Puppet report, I'm happy to fix this. So I fix this. So yeah, please feel free to ping me.
Awesome. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Any other questions? Right, I'm taking silences though. There, I think yeah, this is likely a wrap for this week. Then I think we don't have the honor of the removing all deprecated options. I think present likely, but I mean we have a plan. So yeah, we can totally use this as a bug squash theme for us during this cycle, and let's do that. Okay. Thank you for joining us as well for this topic, Takashi. It's way too late for you. Yeah.
No problem. Yeah, I have been in the Nova meeting till
Oh,
now, so having discussion now doesn't really matter here.
oh yeah. Thank you very much for joining. Right. So I think that's a wrap for our PTG, right? So thank you everyone for participating. If you'd like to, we can take a team picture. Uh, let me stop recording first.